She's a 21-year-old law student here at the University of Antwerp. Sumaya has a lot of experience in political simulations as this, such as the Jeugdparlement Jeunesse, which you might all know, the Erasmus European Youth Parliament, and Antwerp United Nations last year. And this year, Sumaya will be one of the chairs of the UN, so you will see her a lot during the coming 4 days. And she will now elaborate on the topic of the United Nations, which will strive to write a resolution concerning the use of drones. So, Sumaya, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. As you all know, this year's Model United Nations General Assembly will be talking about drones, or UAVs, as the military likes to call them, unmanned aerial vehicles. 87 nations currently have developed and own piloted combat drones. The US, the UK, and Israel, however, are the only nations that are known to have fired missiles from their drones. When we talk about drones, there are two types of drones we need to strip from each other. The first types are drones for domestic use, and the second types are drones for international use. The drones for domestic use have varying uses, such as surveying crops on big surfaces of land, rescue and search and rescue missions, delivering medical aid kits to hard-to-reach areas, and so on. But their most recent use, for example, yesterday, a drone has provided us with footage of the Maidan Square in Ukraine, because there were fires there, and they provided us footage of that. Now, the United States claims that drones are one of the most efficient ways to deal with the war on terror. As you know, ever since the 9/11 attacks, they've been passionately trying to wage war against terrorism. Now, if this is your stance, it's like saying the most efficient way to get rid of a spider out of your house is by using a flamethrower. Of course, if you use a flamethrower, that spider will be gone, super efficient, but so will your house be. So this is it's a balancing act, and a tough one at that. One of the deadliest attacks and one of the prime examples of these spider analogy is when a drone attack was sent to Pakistan in 2011, where 14 people died and lost their lives when they were attending a tribal meeting. President Obama, current United States President Obama, has ordered 5 times the amount of drone strikes in his first term, more than former President Bush has ordered in his entire 8 years. Also, nearly a third of all US warplanes are unmanned flying vehicles. Why is this, you would ask? Well, the drones really are efficient. I mean, the spider can contest to that. Also, they're very cost effective. They are considerably cheaper than their counterparts, other flying vehicles. They are very precise, they're very stealth. You won't hear them coming, you won't see them coming. But their most debated aspect is their lethal autonomy. This means this is the ability of a machine to identify, hunt, and kill based on software calculations. This means that we're pushing the heavy decision to kill someone away from ourselves, away from humans, and into the hands of drones. The tools we use to resolve a conflict heavily shape our social landscape. UAVs are obviously such a tool. History shows us that bit by bit, we have, it's not less who you send to war and more how many you send to war. With this trend of using drones more and more, we're basically taking away that power, that military power from the masses, and putting it into the few hands of unseen people. Basically, we are, to say it, to exaggerate a little bit, we are kind of reversing the democracy we've been striving for the past 5 centuries. For example, in 2004, the US drone fleet had video footage, 71 hours of video footage for people to analyze and to take in information and data from. Skip to 2011, they have produced 300,000 hours of video footage. Now, humanly, it's impossible to look at all those hours of video footages and get your data from it that you need. So in the end, I mean, it begs the question, if you have that much data but you can't really access it, do you really have that data? This also brings us to the idea of plausible deniability. This means in the future it could be very difficult to say who ordered the drone strike and for what reason. If somebody in Pakistan, for example, dies and he was an innocent person or she is an innocent person, the family members don't really have a way of knowing who killed that person, why they killed him, and even how, because as I said, you can't see the drone coming, you can't really hear it coming, so they don't really have anywhere to go to. They don't even know which country the drone belongs to. All of this to say that we need an international legal framework to really kind of limit the use of these drones into a way that is legal and correct, without undermining the rules of law, obviously. Because again, there's too much power into too few hands. Basically, we have the prosecutor, the judge, and the jury, and the executioner all in one, which is obviously against the rules of law. So, this leaves us with a couple of questions like, when is anticipatory self-defense legal? When is it recognized and a justification for targeted killing? Do the pros really outweigh the cons? What about collateral loss of life? Is there enough transparency? When is there enough transparency? Who decides that? That's why we will need you all to really focus on these questions while you're debating, which I'm sure you'll do a great job at. Lastly, I'd like to leave you with a quote of a 13-year-old drone strike survivor who lost his family member in that strike. He said, "I no longer love blue skies. In fact, now I prefer gray skies, because when the skies are gray, the drones don't fly."